to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drum's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light.
Hello everyone, welcome to yet another flight from the Glide Slope channel. Today we are kind of trying to redeem ourselves with the L-1011 from Inibuilds. Unfortunately for us, last time things didn't go that well because, you know, the plane is complex and the implementation isn't 100% as we saw. So there was some issues, some bugs, some missing items that redeem ourselves with the L-1011. All right. Today the flight was going to be a short one. We're going to fly from Lisbon to Madeira, and hopefully most of the stuff that didn't go well in the last flight is I wouldn't say resolved because the airplane has not been updated as of now, but certainly mitigated by some walk-arounds we can go. Now, before we begin, I'm already having some issues, but not related to the plane. So apparently Beyond ATC servers are down, or at least they're not working as intended, and I'm currently trying to debug that, trying to figure out if it's something on my side. Probably not, but still need to understand what's going on. So when I'm trying to connect to Beyond ATC, there seems to be an issue. I'm trying to contact support because without Beyond ATC we will not have traffic or ATC itself. So what bothers me the most is not having ATC. I can live well without traffic, but the ATC is kind of a big deal, not having it. So I keep on trying to communicate with the server, but it keeps the connection with Beyond ATC server process has been lost. So I wonder if I need to just shut down Beyond ATC and start again. Sometimes that resolves stuff. or most of the times. As you can see, the airport is empty. Oh, sorry about that. The airport is empty besides us. So let's see. Oh, it's loading. All right, nice.
Beyond ATC.
Beyond ATC connected. So restarting the program entirely seems to have worked. All right, let's go back inside. So welcome again to this well-known flight deck from the L-1011. Let's go here to the pilot station. Do I have track IR? I do. All right. So first things first, let's get our flight plan in. So here we are from Humberto Delgado Airport in Lisbon to Madeira Airport in Funchal, Madeira. And we are going for... By the way, there seems to have been an update in the way this is depicted. So now specifically for the L-1011, so now we no longer have the cost index factor because this plane doesn't even care about that. But we have some differences. We now have something very important, which is the cruise for the system cruise, and it's Mach 88.83, which is very important data, as we'll see later. So first of all, let's get Beyond ATC, GSX to work. Request boarding, and we'll connect the GPU as well as the AC card. Quite a noisy thing, yes. This is a very old diesel engine, apparently. Hello, Drexy, welcome. All right. So let me put on the. We can just reduce. No, we cannot reduce this external sound, but we can just. I don't know. Noise cancellation isn't working either. That's weird. So it's a bit too loud. So let's just turn off the AC card for now. All right. So So the doors are opening. We can hear that. So first of all, let's connect our. No. Let's turn on our batteries and all that. To bang. If I do remember where the batteries are, it's just one single switch. I'm pretty sure I've been there. Oh, there it is. All right, battery's on, so airplane comes to life.
Passengers bus is coming.
And now let's turn on. Welcome, Drexy. Nice to see you. Let's go to the autocomplete.
Got it. Pre-flighting now. Stand by.
There's a GPU powered on. Let's bring out the checklists. So this is our flight plan for today. We'll get back to that in a moment. So let's go aircraft checklists. So essential, radio 1 and 2 latched, gear lever is down, speed brake handle forward, can move it forward and back. Flaps handle agree, so we come back here and we can see that it's flap 0.
Flow is all set. Aircraft is yours.
Copy that. Throttles are closed, so they're all the way back. Field ignition switches are all off. Transponder set to standby. Radar is off, so not unlatched. Battery is on. Standby power set to arm, so that's the business with our good friend the flight engineer. Engineer panel light, so let's handle that for him because he apparently cannot handle his own lighting. We'll just turn everything on except for the flood, as well as the circuit breakers. So cockpit preparation and everything about this plane takes a little longer than the usual. Well, looks good. Let's go to our... Did I press something here? Let's go now to our own lighting panel. So we are going to set this to align, this to align, that to align. So overhead panel, full lit up, magnetic compass as well, panel lights. Let's arm the emergency and standby power, both latched in. Let's turn on the position lights, logo lights, and anything else, leave it off. So overhead panel lights, main panel lights, center console lights, and center, oh, we need to set the center console lights as well, my bad. Right on. GPU connected, external power light available. This is all done by the engineer. External power switch to on, bus tie breakers to close. Otherwise we won't have any power. So do we have the APU available? Yep, we do. So now we're gonna set the switch on, which is something the the flight engineer forgets to set on, and that's why we didn't have enough pneumatic flow to start our engines. So when we go up here, you can see that the pneumatic flow is off except for the central engine. We can of course turn on if we need to, but the problem here is that if there's no bleed from the APU, of course there's no air flowing on the ducts, and therefore we will always have we will never have power, pneumatic power to turn on the engine. That's why they weren't turning on. But hey, always learning. Alright, let's import the weights, and the weights are in. Let's also take a look at our ATs to set the QNH. So currently in Lisbon we have some rough weather. It's not that serious, but we do have rain and a few clouds, few and scattered. QNH 1015, let's set that up. 1015, that's about right. Let's go back here and set it also for the flight engineer panel. This should be automatic, to be honest, but I don't mind. It's not like the pilot would come back here and do this, but 1014, 1015 done. Alright, so this one is also performed in terms of APU generator, bus tie, air conditioning start. We'll probably use it, but not right now. So we'll leave this backflow control valve switch. Let's set that up. So these are the switches for the backflow, and they're all off. But anyway, it's on auto, and we'll let the engineer do that. APU mode selector set to norm, as it is, as it should be. Hot air valve switch latched in, hot air, and all ends in line. INSs are set. Alright, now let's go for the, we'll just switch that altitude selection. We need to set the altitude for the flight, which will be flight level 370. So let's set that up right here. So this is all the way to 37. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right there. All right. Hello, Denise. Ok, Denise, abraço, tudo bom, tudo correr bem, abraço, tudo bom, obrigado por teres vindo. So, INS1 is on, INS2. So let's set that up. You guys remember how it's done? We come here to the Navigraph charts. First of all, let me line up my Trek IR and turn it off so that I can move my head freely. And you guys don't have to feel sick of me doing that. So this is the previous flight. We can unload that flight actually. So how do we get rid of this flag? Get the other one. Alright, here it is. So let's get the newest one. So we unload this one, import flight from SimBrief. This is the one, and then Lisbon to Madeira. There it is. Oops. Going in too far. Too far zoomed in. There we go. So this is our flight for today. Not bad. We have some weather in Lisbon. There was rain a few moments ago. It dispersed in the meantime, but it was raining, and it was raining quite a bit. Okay, so there are some user waypoints here, which is weird. Anyway, we're gonna get to our charts. So open charts, and we're gonna get taxi charts. By the way, I had a little bug here. Let's see if it's... We didn't have Navigraph charts, but we do now. Alright. We were missing the Navigraph charts in a test flight I did in the meantime, but they're back. So we go to taxi, and we're now going to get the... Okay, airport charts, and we now need to have our GPS coordinates, or lat-long coordinates, INS coordinates, there they are. Now we are at gate 503. Gate 503. Let's zoom in here. Hello. It's not zooming in. Why? Come on. Oh, there we go. So follow gate 503. So this is our initial position. So we set POS November. 503, not 504. November 38461. Insert, and now easting, or in this case westing, 009082. Insert, and as we insert, we come back here to the user, to the DSR, and it's going to take 90 seconds to line up. This is in the fast mode, by the way. You guys can make it realistic or instant, doesn't matter. So again, we're gonna set only 2 INSs. We're gonna leave the third off. November 38 46 1, westing 009 082. Insert, and it's also going to take 90 seconds. Well, we can do this one just for the sake of doing everything, doesn't matter. So again, November 38 46 1, insert, and westing 009er 082. Insert. Alright, so this one should also now take 90 seconds. And as you can see, the process will not begin until you insert the data. So you might as well just do. You can do it with just one INS, or you can do it with all three, or just two. Doesn't matter. As long as one is tuned in, and preferably INS 1, you can fly with the INS system. No problem. Alright, so now for the takeoff data, I'm having a few issues inserting the EPR data. For some reason it doesn't allow me to insert that data, but we'll get to that in a moment. So let's go back to our takeoff performance. So we are going to take runway 20, but let's listen to, well, we can see the ATs right here. So runway use is 20, and there's recurring rain showers, so we might get rain on a takeoff. And we are in transition level 040, as we usually do. We set it up here just for our memory, as a memory item. And we'll contact now Lisbon clearance and request IFR clearance to Madeira.
Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy, ready to copy IFR clearance to Madeira Airport.
Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy, with pure delivery, expect runway 20, Alvat 1 Sierra departure, squawk 2551.
Alvat 1 Sierra departure, squawk 2551. Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy.
Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy, read correct. Contact ground 121.755 when ready for push or start.
Will contact ground 121.755 ready for pushback for engine start. Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy, Dalk.
Dank instead of thanks. So we calculated our performance according to our takeoff gross weight, pressure, altitude, and outside temperature, and we got a
Portugal 8380, Ram 421, request pushback.
Air Portugal 8. Pushback approved. Face north.
Pushback approved. Face north. Air Portugal 8380.
so we're just gonna set this just to hear everything around us. So we got our takeoff EPR set for 0.643, initial climb 0.546. As for V speeds, 131, 134 for V1, 134 for VR, and 148 for V2. We're gonna take off lap 10. Our step trim will be 4.14. And this is our cleanup speed, so we're going to set this as V2 plus 70 to 218. Let's set that for our clear thrust. So this is the thrust we'll set for clearing the flaps. We need some lighting here as well. Not much for flooding, but everything else maxed out, as well as the utility and the glass shield. Much better. Our co-pilot can also get some nice little lighting here. Alright, so by the way, the flight plan is loaded on the GPS just as a fallback solution. Alright, so let's go for our departure for Lisbon, and let's get runway set departure. So we are cleared via Hulvos. Now this plane of course doesn't have the capability to follow RNAV or anything of the sort, so we have the ability to load these points, let's say Ulvos 1 Sierra, as a waypoint. So this is the one we got. So this is the one we'll be following to all the way to Ulvat via Ligra, PT, whatever. None of these points are, the plane is incapable of following these points because they have no coordinates or VOR or anything of the sort. However, as you will see, these waypoints will be inserted here, imported from the flight plan, and they will be added as waypoints, basically. Let's send to INS, and there they are. So, are we there yet? This one's about done. This one's done, set 02, so we're back at waypoint, and now we're just going to tell it to go from INS1 to INS2. So we're going to set track change. So waypoint, track change. Is there something wrong here? Oh, of course there is. So now set to nav, nav. This one is not set. Why? Something's off. So let's set back to align. Alright, now it's probably going to take the 90 seconds. No? Yep, it's now going to take the 90 seconds to load in. Alright, now we are in the correct mode, so let's check track change 0 to 1, insert, and now we got our flight plan drawn in on the screen. And as you can see, the waypoint names are there, and NetVO, PT 703, 706. So if you come back here to the charts, that's exactly PT 703, 716, Ligra, Olvat. They're all in here. And then some, you can only load 9 waypoints at a time, but it will load the remaining waypoints after it expires the previous ones. Alright, so we can start cleaning up our plane. So let's call GSX and tell them that we are ready to go. Prepare for pushback and departure. Oh no. It still has that little bug. Yeah, so they're not going to be of use. GSX is still not working as intended. Still misbehaving in terms. For some reason, it calls the refueling truck in the catering service, but those never arrive. At least not for this plane. So we are going to have some issues trying to get out of here if we don't force GSX to stop, and that's pretty much what I'm going to be forced to do in a moment. But let's carry on with the flight planning. So we're going to leave this one here. Load sheet is in. We got our ground equipment. We can close the doors now, as well as the cargo doors. We're going to leave the GPU connected just for the moment. Let's go to cockpit flow for engine start.
Going through the engine startup flow. 1 moment, please, Captain.
Just make sure the bleed system is open.
Flow's done. You're welcome.
This guy is kind of passive aggressive. I don't really like him, the way he talks to me. Alright, we're good to go. Now we're just gonna have to tell GSX to reset position, probably. Yep, there it goes. Because it's just a mess. It doesn't matter that it loaded or it didn't load all the passengers in, because we can load. We have already loaded directly from Inibuild. There's the little pin. I can see a little hand waving there. So we are ready for engine start, including the APU bleed button there. Everything looks fine. Now all we need to do is turn off the GPU. We no longer need it. It's already off. So this one's set to minimum. And let's go back to the checklist real quick before we do anything else. So captain and the flight officer switches ignition A and INS3. We're still waiting for INS2 there. Should be pretty close, 18 seconds. External lights set, logo on and position on. They're both on. Emergency lighting and seatbelt signs Let's set these to on, no smoking as well. So position, and you're gonna stand by, little man.
Your Atlantic 1011 Heavy, Bar 503, request push out.
Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy, Lisbon ground, pushback and engine start approved. Face south.
Push out approved. Face south. Your Atlantic 1011 Heavy.
So we need to face left, that's south. Just waiting for the INS to conclude.
Contact Tower 118.105. Airport Signal 8380.
We can't move the airplane until the INSs are aligned, just like we do that on the other aircraft as well. Alright, now it's done. Set this to position. Actually set this to track ground speed and this one to position. Alright. So we need to turn south, which is to the left.
For X-ray Delta, gate 115, request pushback.
Yeah, something's not.
34 X-ray Delta, Lisbon ground, pushback and engine start approved. Face south, pushback approved. Face south, taxi 34 X-ray Delta.
Alright, then we are going to start with engine 2 as bragged. Button. Engine 2 starting up. We're looking at 20% N3, which is this gauge right here. So now it's 10%, 15%, 20% in fuel injecting. And there goes the TGT. We're taxiing out. Let's take a look outside this beautiful airplane. Amazing classic plane. Pretty good job on Inibuilds. I suppose that all the issues I found already are just normal. Parking brake set. Set number 3. Same drill.
Cross runway 20 at Uniform 5. Continue taxi via Uniform Sierra 3. Bravo with Malta 484.
Oh, sorry, not this one, this one. I miss. That's the windmilling air start. It's easy to miss those. Nowadays these buttons are designed in such a way they cannot be mistaken. But as you saw there, it's pretty normal to mix them up. 20% inject.
X-ray Delta, taxi holding point Bravo, runway 20 via Alpha 2, Yankee, Alpha 3.
In the meantime, we're going to set runway heading. So we're going to it's going to be 205.
Runway 20 via Alpha 2, Yankee, Alpha 3, Golf 1, Tadu, Uniform, Sierra 3, Bravo, hold short runway 20, taxi 34 X-ray Delta.
Europa 53 Mike Victor, at gate 122, request pushback and engine start.
We can also set the same for the course.
Pushback and engine start approved. Face north.
Pushback approved. Face north. Europa 53
And
Mike
start
Victor.
number 1. Green light. %. 20% started. Nice. Engine start.
Malta 484.
After engine start checks, roger. Doing those now.
of 2118.105, with motor 484.
So it's opening up the bleed air for the
All
packs.
set. Happy to report. The aircraft is now set as requested. Your specification.
Alright, let's set flaps 10.
Flaps 10. Taxi for departure.
And we're good to go. Let's call GSX, tell them that we got a good engine start.
Taxi holding point Bravo, runway 20, be Alpha 3, Delta 1.
So we're gonna set altitude 370.
Runway 20, Europa 53 Mike Victor.
And this is the part where I should insert my EPR, but it doesn't allow me to set it for... Actually, it didn't set takeoff performance, set bugs. Now the bugs are there. So if I press here, EPR, it doesn't light up to insert. We can insert the gross fuel. So we go back to load sheet. Gross fuel is 163. 63. No, see? Something fishy here. Let's try fuel. So fuel capacity, total fuel actually is 25.3. So let's try 25. Yeah, something's fishy here. I don't understand what's don't understand why we can't insert this data. The Zulu time is correct though. Yep, it's correct. So I don't know why I can't insert this data. That's certainly. What about sat temperature? Should be 16, right? Temperature outside 16. If I try to write that, nothing happened. It keeps changing the PR altitude. Not sure what the heck's going on there. Anyway, we got everything set up. Let's just run the checklist and request taxi. So nav1 DME set norm, IIS done, heading, runway heading, flight directors both on. Autopilot masters off, course 1 and 2 set, altitude set and armed. Initial ALBs 4,000 feet. Toga engage. It's a little button here. Nav2 set, we're not going to use it today. Altimeters set and cross-checked. So there's one last item there, and HSI set course. We got our course set on both sides. INS 1 and 2 set, PMS set, parking brake is set, communication radio's done, ADF, let's not use that today. Transponder checked, radar set, standby. INS 3, so it's on standby. INS 3 set and rudder altimeter. So let's set our aileron, our trim, sorry. So we're gonna set 414. So right about there. Alright, we got good engine start. We can set these all checked. Let's actually go to taxi checklist. After start checklist, all engine bleeds, fuselage isolation, these are all the responsibility of the flight engineer. ATMS, also electrical power, fuel panel, everything is on the responsibility of the flight engineer. Engine NTIs, we're going to set it up, although I don't predict that we will require that. So this is the windshield. Wing NTIs, what's our TAT 16? So we're not required. Engine ignition set both. Where is that? That right there. And we're going to set continuous for takeoff. Speed brakes check. Flaps set for takeoff, which is flaps 10. Flaps 10 confirmed. One final item, flight controls. Let's check the flight controls now. Let's look at this little gauge here. Full deflection left, neutral, full deflection right. neutral, full pitch up, neutral, full pitch down, neutral, full rudder left, neutral, full rudder right, quite sluggish, and neutral, full speed brakes. Hello. There's no indication for speed brakes here? I thought that was for the spoilers right there. Well, alright. Unless you need to move. No. Yeah, the speed brakes should move the spoilers up, but doesn't matter. Alright, taxi checklist, nose wheel steering. We're gonna request taxi.
Your Atlantic 1011 request taxi to the active.
Euro Atlantic 1011
Don't forget the anti-collision.
Taxi holding point Bravo, runway 20, via Juliet, Golf 1, Tango, uniform, hold short runway 20.
Taxi holding point Bravo, runway 20, via Juliet, Golf 1, Tango, uniform, hold short runway 20.
This is weird because it told us to turn south, but now we need to go north. So, not cool, man. Not cool. Definitely told us to turn south. So we're gonna make a U-turn right here and go back. Let's go. Parking brake off.
Tower 534 X-ray Delta, contact Lisbon Tower 118.105.
We're gonna check our brakes now. Brakes applied. It has been checked. Speed. Alright. Stick this to the left side. Track IR back on. There we are.
KLM98 Echo at Brand 701. Request pushback.
Europa 53 Mike 60. Contact Lisbon Tower 118.105.
Up to Tower 118.105.
Remember the landing, the nose landing gear is on way back. So allow it some
Face south. KLM98 Echo.
turn radius. Because remember, this is a huge plane. Hello, Andrew. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for the best wishes. Things are running smoothly, except for GSX still not able to properly connect with the plane, but I can live with that. So we're now going to need to hold short 1820 via uniform. Our screen here. Whoops. Sorry about that. So we need to turn right here. That's not exactly our route, but we are improvising here because we were told to face the opposite direction where we should be facing, so that was weird, but Beyond ATC has a very hard time sometimes separating traffic, so yeah, you see, for some reason it's telling this plane to turn towards us. We're just gonna go through it, sorry about that. It's kind of an out-of-body experience for this plane. It just doesn't manage ground traffic that well. That's the reason why you need to anticipate if you see other planes. So look at that. This one is also turning towards us. This should not happen. If you assign a path, this should not happen. But we're kind of used to live with beyond ATC at this point. So we're gonna waiting for to cross on the visual holding point for runway 20. It wants us to go through uniform, but there's no point. We definitely need to cross it.
646, ready to taxi to the active.
Impossible 646.
We're just gonna hold here.
Point Bravo, runway 20 via Alpha 3, Delta 1, tackle uniform 03, Bravo, hold short runway 20.
Taxi holding point Bravo.
So we're queued to talk. So I don't know what happened to my screen here.
Uniform
It just moved away from the route. Probably when I was zooming in or something.
Air Atlantic 1011 Heavy, holding short 20.
Come on.
Air Atlantic 1011 Heavy, waiting to cross 20.
Hello? It definitely wanted us to go through uniform. Since we're not there, it's...
Angular 652 heavy, Ram 504 taxi via Papa, uniform 1, Foxtrot, Juliet.
Over to Ram 504 taxi via Papa, uniform 1, Foxtrot, Juliet, Angular 652 heavy.
Come on.
Air Atlantic 1011 Heavy, radio check.
Euro Atlantic 1011 heavy, reading you loud and clear.
Aero Atlantic 1011 Heavy, request crossing runway 20.
Euro Atlantic 1011 heavy, contact tower when at runway hold point. Keep frequency clear, please.
What? Oh my god, this beyond ATC sometimes is a circus. There's another one there coming up. Lisbon Tower, Aero Atlantic. No, sorry, Lisbon Ground. My bad.
Say it again.
Lisbon Ground, Aero Atlantic 1011, holding short at Alpha 6, request crossing runway 20. Not sure it's capable of understanding all that.
Euro Atlantic 1011 heavy, unable to cross runway 02. Contact tower when at runway hold point. Keep frequency clear, please.
I can't go to the holding point. Alright. Let's go to the tower then. Which doesn't make sense, but alright. Tower, Aero Atlantic 1011 Heavy, request crossing runway 20. It's probably going to say the same crap.
Euro Atlantic 1011 heavy. We don't see you at the sign
See.
departure runway I said. Contact ground.
Yeah, we definitely need to go to that other side there, so we still got taxiway, enough taxiway to turn around and go there. Don't know why I can't cross here, but alright. So this is tarmac, although it's painted green. So let's request a crossing here. Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy, request crossing runway 20.
Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy, unable to cross runway 02. Contact tower when at runway hold point.
Yeah, there's definitely a problem here. Definitely, unequivocally, a problem here. So rush hour in Lisbon. At least it's not raining. Oh, that's an LL plane. Another one incoming. So let's go to tower. Lisbon Tower, Aero Atlantic 1011 Heavy, request crossing runway 20. Can we get that now?
Air Portugal 93 Zulu Sierra, wind 140 degrees, 5 north, runway 20 clear to land, runway 20 clear to land, Air Portugal 93 Zulu Sierra. Hello 375, Marnia ground 121.755. Ground 121.755, LL 375. Lisbon Tower, Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy, we don't see you at assigned departure runway as yet. Contact ground.
Let's come back to ground. I'm really aggravated with all this, but we're just gonna taxi without authorization, which is a big no-no. But apparently beyond ATC is having trouble with these holding points here. All planes are coming this way, by the way. If I go outside, you'll see. So there's a KLM in front of us, and then there's these two TAP Portugal aircraft right behind us. We are supposed to be cleared, but I don't know at this point if we are going to get a clearance. Let's keep positive. So we're going to go for the lineup checklist. We're going to set that up with the guys on the back.
Lineup procedures, yep, doing that now.
So anti-skid.
Hey mate, just got that flow done. She's all set.
Hello. So it's latched in. We're going to set this for takeoff. I don't know why we don't have anti-skid there, but anyway. Auto brake as required. Strobe lights will be set on. Landing lights will be set on. Continuous ignition set on. Temperature probe heat set on. Transponder set to TARA. We can set that right now. It's 2551, right?
Air Portugal 93 Zulu Sierra, gate 124 taxi via Hotel 3, Charlie, Hotel 3, Foxtrot, Golf 1, Tiger, Yankee, Alpha 3, gate 124.
Yeah, 2551.
Charlie, Hotel 3, Foxtrot, Golf 1.
We can also set our turn on our radar. Set to WX and T. Stabilized. Radar on. We just need to set these. Yeah, we're going to cross it. I don't care. There's some issues here with it. This plane is going to get stuck here forever. And so will we. So never mind the plane. Twilight Zone. So this used to work well. It used to be clear to cross the runway, but not anymore. Right. Let's carry on taxiing down to runway 020. So we should have crossed on the other side on that first holding point I was in. But ATC just didn't have it. So I'm gonna set this for INS. Set this to auto throttle. No, not yet, baby. I forget we don't get to arm stuff for our throttle. We can just engage in the moment. It's a little different. So now we should go to the tower. Let's hold here on the holding point. Lisbon Tower, Hero Atlantic 1011 Heavy, ready to go runway 20. How will it respond?
Hero Atlantic 1011 Heavy, Lisbon Tower, wind 140 degrees, 5 knots, runway 20, cleared for takeoff. Traffic 6 mile final, keep it rolling.
Runway 20.
Alright.
Takeoff. Keep it rolling. Hero Atlantic 1011 Heavy.
Come on, 6 miles out. EPR set. Airspeed alight. 80 knots. Check. V1. Rotate. Come on. Positive rate. Gear up. To keep that performance going. Like a rocket ship. Flaps 4. Indeed.
Lisbon departure. Hero Atlantic 1011 Heavy. 3,300 feet.
Hero Atlantic 1011 Heavy, Lisbon departure, identified. Climb to flight level 180.
180.
Climb to flight level 180. Hero Atlantic 1011 Heavy.
Autopilot engaged. .180 set. Set auto throttle 218. after takeoff checklists. Runway turn off, taxi and nose landing light. Oh, forgot strobe. Passing 10,000 feet, external lights off. Very fast plane. Climb checklist.
Climb check. Stand by, Captain. Hey, Captain, got that plane done. Back to you.
So all this was done except for the strobe lights, my bad. And there's an item missing. We've seen that. Autopilot modes, thrust modes, rotate, positive rate, gear up. Now we pitch, set 10 degrees. We're waiting for the plane to reach the clean speeds. So let's go with thrust management, VNAV. Let the plane accelerate. So we are now following the flight plan for the INS. So we're gonna go here to the charts. As you can see, we're gonna follow this path right down there. Plane is accelerating. We got flaps 4 already. So this is speed check, flaps 1. Plane's now going to accelerate to 320 knots. We can set all these minimum clean speed V2 plus 70 and climb auto brake set off. Set off. Nose wheels landing light off. Runway turn off lights. Continuous ignition set off. Backs on. It's too freaking not loud in here. Wow, much better.
To flight level 370.
Climb to flight level 370.
Let's go to
Atlantic 1011
cruise
heavy.
altitude. Done. So now we're going to need to accelerate the plane to 320, so it's exceeding, and before it overspeeds, let's bring it back. We also need to set this to flight setup. My bad. There you are. Set this to VS, set it 3,000 feet, no need to climb that fast. So we can also keep the EPR. So we are going through the optimum cruise speed, so it's should be around 250 knots, but it's reducing slowly. Cabin secure now? It's a bit late, lady. So also pay good attention to our radar here. So we are in the weather and turbulence mode. The radar is clear for now. it's slowly reducing indicated airspeed so it can keep the EPR.
Ryanair 10 Golf, descend to flight level 160. Descend
This
to
is
flight
our
level
GPS.
160. Ryanair 10 Golf.
So it has a flight plan inserted. It's just a fallback system, just in case we actually do require to fly with alternate equipment. Just let's say we lose our INSs, we can go fall back to our. Let's keep this in the ground speed. Huh. Apparently, oh, there it is. That's our ground speed. Why can't I see the ground speed here? It's weird. Ah, probably because it's not following the flight plan. So we need to set this 3 to 4. And now probably we got, oh, still no. Alright, let's keep that in position in this one in ground speed. You can see how fast we're climbing to flight level 3830. We're gonna go to flight level 370, so we're not even off the coast of Portugal, barely, and we're already so high. That's the advantage of having such powerful 3 engines, very powerful engines. Yeah, it was unfortunately a long taxi, and if we had some issues with beyond ATC ground traffic control, it's never been good, but it appears to be, it's gotten worse over time. We need, of course, to follow the actual flight ground taxi plan it gives us, otherwise it will go nuts. And I did try to cross on that other threshold, which, not the threshold, holding point, which I should have gone where they were assigned to me, but
Contact Madrid Channel 118.275. Contact Madrid Channel 118.275.
can go to the en route. Now we do have the correct flight plan there, although SIDS and stars will be a bit of black magic still. Let's get rid of all these unnecessary IFR lights. Let's go IFR lines so we can get a clear picture.
Contact Madrid Channel 118.275.
Contact Madrid Channel 118.275. Below your 2407.
Ryanair 10 Golf, descend to flight level 100. Descend to flight level 100. Ryanair 10 Golf.
So it's not a full moon, but it's there's a good moon outside, although it looks quite dark at this moment. You can see INS2 is a little off. Well, INS2, not INS2, INS overall is a little off compared to GPS navigation. Just the other day I was studying on RNAV approaches on the A320, and there's a precision of 0.01, of 0.1, there it is, there's a precision of 0.1 meters. And that's crazy how the RNP can be that precise. Looks like it's coming up on the top of climb as it should, and at this point we can switch to indicated airspeed to increase our speed. Let's go to 250 knots. Let's not go crazy right now.
Contact Madrid Channel 118.275. Transsolar 87 Lima Golf.
But now is a good time to explain that this plane is recently released, so there's some issues with it. First of all, we have no information on your upper screen. Let me restart the app again. There's some crazy stuff going on with this. Let's shut it down. Restart it back up. See if you guys can get info on the flight on the top. The reason why we don't have information, there it is. The reason why we don't have information, apparently it's because this is Microsoft Flight Simulator inbuilt sim market. Alright, now we have information on the top of the screen with the exception of the airplane type, because like I was saying, this is a Microsoft market airplane, so the idea is that it's not broadcasting this data. So now it's correct, and you got the flight following right.
Contact Lisbon Tribal 125.13.
Contact Lisbon Tribal 125.13, Eurowing 64 Hotel.
Oh, we don't have wing lights. We should have wing lights. There we have wing lights.
Ryanair 1 Zulu Golf. Contact portal approach 120.91. Contact portal approach 120.91. Ryanair 1 Zulu Golf.
Some wing flags for you. There's some turbulence flying over Lisbon. I saw that on the navigation and weather charts. So this is mild turbulence, what you're witnessing here. We can turn this off for your viewing pleasure. We are at cruise altitude, maintaining very nice airspeed currently. Forgot to set this to the cruise mode. We can now set the throttle management. It's going to try to establish Mach 0.83, just like we had anticipated on the flight plan OFP. You remember I was talking about that.
Is 83 Uniform Echo.
So we're out of Ulvat. That was the last waypoint. We're now going to request the arrival at Madeira, which I believe it's this one. Yep, Raccoon 1 Papa. And then it's going to be a little messy to make our approach. We're going to try to request a visual approach to runway 05 and see what we got. If not, we're going to try to follow as best as we can the RNAV approach. So first of all, let's spin this. Let's go for the RNAV approach, not the RNP. We certainly VOR visual, yeah. Maybe we can do this, the VOR visual. Sorry. So you're going to need to tune in Funchal Funchal's VOR, that's 112.2. So this is old school navigation. 112.2. 112.2. We don't have DME just yet. We're very far away. We're going to also get this one here, 112.2. All right. Now set norm, norm. All right. And now we are going to set our course for the approach, which should be 211 course. We're still far away. We don't really need to do that just now, but we are going to need all the preparation we can get. Just setting our course heading to our course. So what we are planning to do for the visual approach is coming out of radial 1211 from Funchal VOR up to 3.6 nautical miles. We should have visual with the runway threshold, runway 23 threshold, assuming we're landing on 05, which I hope we are. And then at 6 DME, we're going to start our right-hand turn at 940 feet. So we're going to start our descent pretty in the back. Let's go here to the helper. We are at flight level 3700. We're going to need to descend to let's say 900, and 3 degrees glide path. We can set it 3 degrees glide path, although we don't really need to set this as an ILS approach. So we're going to start our descent 113 nautical miles from that point. So we're going to need to start our descent 113 miles from Funchal VOR, and I don't think we can do that correctly due to the fact that Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 VOR ranges are a bit underwhelming, to be honest. So that's a limitation from the simulator. So how does VOR work? VOR are very funky antenna. Is a very funky antenna because it has one major mast antenna, and then it has 100, I believe it's more than that. It has hundreds of little antennas circulating the main antenna. What does that do? That sends a signal to the aircraft of the current bearing, so the current bearing to the aircraft. So it tells the aircraft you're at bearing whatever to my position, and it also tells the aircraft where's north. So imagine a beacon that rotates very fast every millisecond, keeps rotating, and every time it hits the airplane, like let's say like a radar, it's not really a radar, but every time it hits the aircraft, it's telling you there you are, and then it tells the aircraft, and north is that way. So it gives the plane a very good estimation of position and also bearing. Now, some VORs, most VORs, not all VORs, but some VORs do have another antenna which operates in such a way that it also tells the distance of the aircraft to the said beacon. And so that's DME, that's distance in nautical miles to the station. So that's what we are using here to calculate our bearing and our distance from Funchal's VOR all the way in to make this course. So what we need to do then at 6 nautical miles from Funchal VOR is make our left-hand turn towards the visual rabbit poles at Jill. The rabbit poles are little flashing lights that operate in sequence, giving us a bearing and well, really a bearing. And we should hit our minimums at 460 feet at Rosario. So let's set that up. Actually, that's not. It needs to be 314 because this is this is barrel reference, barrel altitude, and this is radar altitude. So it's 314. Not, so this is our minimum altitude that's going to be lit up here on our decision height. This little light will shine, and this one will also shine.
Ryanair 97 Juliet Lima, descend to flight level 250, descend to flight level 250.
So, you guys want to know where we are? It's a little hard to see because there's no references outside, but this is where we are.
Lisbon sent Alpine 52 Foxtrot Kilo, descending by SOX 6 Kilo, flight level 318.
Alpine 52 Foxtrot Kilo, Lisbon sent, radar contact. Ryanair 9498, SOX 6 Kilo with the SOX transition, runway 10. We're ready for descent.
Vertex 6 Kilo with the Vertex transition, runway 10, ready for descent. Ryanair 9498.
Ryanair 9498, descend to flight level 250.
Descend to flight level 250, Ryanair 9498.
Skyrun 5013, descending via Vessel 4 Tango, flight level 263.
Skyrun 5013, Lisbon send, radar contact. Magic Sun 7014, contact set DSN 118.275. Have a good evening.
Contact set DSN 118.275, Magic Sound 7014, good day.
Easy 65 Romeo Foxtrot, contact Madrid Center 118.275.
Center on 118.275, Easy 65 Romeo Foxtrot.
So, you guys want to know a few fun facts about the L-1011? Let's talk about the L-1011's overall services. As you know, the plane is very old. It began flying, actively flying in 1972, so it's a very old aircraft. And it's more than 50 years since then, and I believe the last flying Tristar still flies for the Northrop Corporation. Not entirely sure if it's still flying, but it was flying until until last year, so 2024. Sorry, not last year. I'm still in 2025. It was still flying in 2024, so 2 years ago. Not sure if it still is today, but it was. And I don't know if you guys knew, but this is one of the safest aircraft out there in terms of its entire history. Of course, let's just set this to ADF, although we're not going to use it. Although other aircraft also hold an impeccable service record. This plane, out of the 250 airframes built, including all variants, so Lockheed made at least 5 variants. So the L-1011-1, the L-1011-100, the L-1011-2, the L-1011-200, and the L-1011-500. This is the 500, by the way. It only had about more. I think it was 35 incidents. Of those, 10 of those were fatal. So 10 fatal occurrences. But really, it was much safer than its counterparts back in the day. It was safer than the 747, for example. Certainly safer than the DC-10 with all its trouble. And Lockheed had an impeccable maintenance record as well with it. Of course, nowadays you might think, well, 35 incidents, that's a lot. Consider that there was only 250 airplanes and only 10 were lost to accidents. That's an amazing record. And contributing to that safety record is, of course, the incredible advanced systems this plane already had. 3 INSs, I mean, it was very advanced, so there's several automations as well. So the plane I was talking about that's still flying is flying for Northrop Grumman. It's called the Stargazer, and it's usually used to test weapons in flight, but I believe it was also used for space-related activities, like rockets launched into space, stuff like that. So it would carry rockets, and it would drop the rocket, and it would fire up and go to space. Not sure if it's still flying again. I believe it is, but another cool feature is something I showed in the last flight, the fact that the horizontal stabilizer is not really just a standard stabilizer. It's actually called a stabilator, and I forgot to mention that. So it's simply amazing that it's one of the very few airplanes in the world, in aviation history actually, for commercial airliners to have a stabilator. So the difference between a standard horizontal stabilizer you can find, say, on an Airbus A320 is that the entire horizontal stabilizer moves, which gives this airplane an amazing stability in pitch maneuvers. This doesn't occur anymore. There's no longer such a thing in the aviation world, at least not in modern day airliners. But yeah, it was one of the first planes, if not the only commercial airliner of its decade, to ever add such a thing. And then to this day, not many airliners, to my knowledge, do have stabilators.
Ryanair 949A, descend to flight level 110.
It was also the very first airliner in the world to be capable of auto-land. It was the first certified auto-land capable airplane, certified by the American FAA and later on with European JAA, which now today is EASA. So it's amazing that due to its DLC, the dynamic direct lift control system, that really improved, so added to the fact that it had a stabilator. The entire plane was incredibly stable, incredibly aerodynamic, easy to fly, and that led to the first ever certified auto landing system. Of course, it was not just a sea of roses, unfortunately. The plane did suffer with several production hurdles, especially with the RB211 engine. It did suffer quite a bit with delays, and that's the reason why the DC-10 overtook it in terms of market. of what happened in the market, because it arrived first, and that took a good chunk of potential buyers out of Lockheed's
Juliet 5 Juliet Juliet.
potential sales.
Arrival 125.13. Contact Lisbon arrival 125.13. Juliet 5 Juliet Juliet.
I've already shown the cabin, but let's look at it again. So this is the flight deck again. Captain, co-pilot, and flight engineer, plus 2 guests, with I would say one of the best jump seats out there. I don't think there's any other airline with such a jump seat. I mean, it's standing right there behind the captain's head, looking outside, privileged window, best seat in the plane, for a passenger, of course.
Bye-bye.
That's just...
Ryanair 97 Juliet Lima. Descend to flight level 110. Descend to flight level 110.
So another jump seat, a little more modest jump seat, but still a nice place. And look at this, no armor door, just a plain, probably wood-made door, just like these panels over here. Wood, terrible fire hazard, but still very cool to see. I just noticed that this seat here has air venting and a light there, but not this one. Is there an air vent? Oh yes, there is an air vent. So yeah, it even has the air vent. It doesn't have a light though, but it does have, and it does have a radio. Look at that. You can connect your headphones here, just like any other crew member. This guy back here, not as lucky, but it does have a speaker here, so you can listen to it. It just can't communicate. So again, very standard door. Look at that. There's not even a hinge here, is there? Well, maybe it's not modeled, but... And welcome to the 1970s style cabin. Again, this is there are only 2 classes, first class and economy. There are only 2 bathrooms up front, probably serving the crew and first class only. We still can't open these doors, they're still modeling that. But there it is, there's only 2 cabins, 1 on each side. Notice the funky design, that door is offset, so that's L1, it's offset from R1. These doors are fully automated, there's no handle here. That's because you operate it by pressing one of these 2 buttons to open and close. There's also the evacuation slide. But other than that, this door is completely automated, and it flows up. It opens inwards and upwards. It goes into the fuselage, which is an amazing feature. I believe the MD-11 also has these kind of doors. It's really cool to see. And look at this. No screens, just a big 3-bulb projector, probably projecting to a screen that's not here right now. And then look at the size, the height of this cabin, really tall. These bins are huge but vertical, so really cool to see. 1 bin serves an entire row, well, 2 bins if you consider the other side. Now on the there's a version of the L-1011. It also has a lower deck for the first class with a stair access, really funky business, with a little lounge in there for parties and all that. And look at these seats, very sparse, nothing to it, just a little tray to pull down, a little pocket there for magazines, and that's it. Really easy to remove as well. These planes were easily converted to cargo on the go. Nowadays it's the same, just the seats are a little harder to remove with all the technology, with all the tech and wires. And look at that, 5 bathrooms, really noisy bathrooms. I already shown this, but look at that. There's number 2 engine right over there, so they're probably not as the most silent bathrooms you'll ever find on an airliner. And again, we have that. I mean, look at that. If you're flying on economy and the film was up there, good luck watching anything. I mean, this camera is probably a bit too zoomed in, and good luck watching the movie from this flight, especially if you're in the back right here. Also, don't know why these seats have trays. No one's sitting in the back, but still. Yeah, so in-flight entertainment was not a thing back in the 1970s, but still flying was a luxury. Even flying in economy was a luxury. People would take flying like an event. Look at that, we still have our seatbelt signs on. Let's go back to our seats. Let's close this door. Turn off the storm light. And we still have DME. But we should start descending right about, I would say probably here at this point. But we do need to have like a distance of measurement, or some distance to measure, because remember, we need to start our descent at 130 nautical miles, let's say 140 nautical miles. So as soon as we got DME, we should start our descent. Or, oh, stand by, I forgot to put this at standard altitude, 1013. So for some reason the APU is still on. I'm not entirely sure if it should be on, because it's spending fuel. I don't think we can even stop the APU. So let's just leave it on for now. That's odd, because we did press the automated systems, the autocomplete systems for the lineup, and there's nothing here about turning off the APU. So we need the APU for engine start, so there's certainly no APU off, but there is no APU turned off after start, which is, I suppose they still need to mess that up, but unless the APU is required for, no, it doesn't make sense. It's got 3 engines, come on. Cross plate is off. Anyway, let's set up our descent. So we're now in cruise, and we're going to need to set up our descent. We will need to calculate the landing performance for runway 05. So let's set it up for 05. So first of all, let's get our so landing weight will be approximately 156, maybe 155. We'll of course update this, and our landing elevation will be less than 100. Where's our airport elevation? 1901. 1901. This is probably going to round up to 1900. Alright, so we will need 2,000 meters. Let me just confirm this is in kilos. Is this in kilos? It looks like pounds, doesn't it? No, it's kilograms. All right, so it's cool. So we will need to land at V approach 149, and we'll need 2,000 meters for landing. Let's just go for the sake of. So we need to VOR approach runway 05, and then now we're gonna go here and get our airport data. Airport briefing. There it is. So the runway is good enough, 2,781 meters, but we will require almost a full extent. Well, 2/3, I would say, a little more than 2/3 of the runway extension. I sincerely hope they get us to the correct parking stand, which should be Alpha 16 or Alpha 14, and don't give us like a medium gate, because this plane is huge, and last time we landed in Lisbon it gives us a medium gate. It is retro, very retro. Everything about this plane is retro. So let's pin this as well. Alright, so let's go to the charted pins. Or the pin charts. So after piling, we're going to try to request a direct approach to the Madeira VOR so we can engage on the visual VOR, visual approach to runway 05, course 211, etc. Still pitch back outside. Let's go back here so I can show you where we are. We also have the GPS as well as our screen here with the flight plan. But as you can see, the flight plan ends at Pylim, so there's nothing more to do after that. So let's set up our landing altitude now. So local QNH, let's check the 80s. Local QNH will be 1016. I checked the weather before I started the flight to make sure there was no rough weather in Madeira, because trying a visual approach with rough weather is just suicide. 1016, and let's set 1901 as our landing altitude. Let's set 200, it's fine. Yeah, 200 is fine. As you can see, messing with the cabin pressure control right now will not mess with the cabin altitude. It will only do so when we start descending. So now it's set to the current cruise altitude, so it's not going to start like decompressing just because we're messing with the gauge. But if you don't want to take chances, of course you can just set this as we started descending. And you will notice that the CDU is directly connected to the phase of the flight, so if I now wanted to start our descent, I just press the next operational button and it will go to the descent mode.
Lufthansa 92 November, contact Lisbon Triangle 125.13, contact Lisbon Triangle 125.13, Lufthansa 92 November.
This is the CSTB Tango Echo Bravo. This used to be a TAP Portugal airplane before Euro Atlantic acquired it. Euro Atlantic Airways began its service with this airplane and a vacation agency, travel agency called Abreu, and they used to fly almost exclusively charter. Nowadays they still fly a lot of charter, but they mostly do ACMI, so aircraft crew maintenance and insurance type of leasing, and that's their main business. They're currently flying for many different airlines, including Brazilian airlines. Let's just set my favorite camera, as well as the belly camera. These are my two favorite cameras for the outside view. It's funny to see here the CPDLC code, but as you know, this plane does not have any kind, shape, or form of data link. That was very far in the future. In fact, I honestly think that the pilots back then couldn't even imagine one day planes will be flying with just GPS, contacting each other via data link, not each other but ATC via satellite contact, sending messages, written messages instead of talking actually. Aviation came a long way since the venerable Tristar, but as you can see, it still flies like a wonder. Unfortunately, myself, I never was able to fly this plane in real life, which is very unfortunate because I really wanted to. But I saw it flying so many times. It was one of my favorites, and still is. It's my second favorite aircraft of all time. Number one is the Airbus A350, quite a modern plane, but it is really a wonder. It is a marvel of aviation. And this one's the second. And if you want to know the third, that's the Boeing 747. Follow it quite closely, I would say, by the A330, A340, A320 first, then the A330, A340, and the 777, 757. All those planes are really my top 10. And I had to squeeze in the MD-11 because I fell in love with that plane by TFDI. Still considered to be the best trijet of these two. The MD-11 is a more modern plane anyway. Already has doesn't have the flight engineer panel, so that's the very first innovation, but it also has a lot of other automations, especially in the overhead panel. Very modern plane considering how old it is, which sounds like a contradiction, but I still believe it's the best trijet ever made. The L-1011, the best. It's the second best. I would say the DC-10 is the fourth. So let me rephrase that. So I think the MD-11 is the best trijet ever made, but on the second place, you need to insert the Boeing 727, not because of technology, but because of real sheer usage and reliability. And then comes the L-1011, and the DC-10 comes number 4. So the L-1011 is a wonder, it is a marvel, but the 727 is absolutely dominating the trijet era for sure. Boeing did an excellent job with that plane, although in today's terms it's a very old plane, and if you could compare it directly with the L-1011 here, which you cannot because the 727 is a mid-range aircraft, but if you could, the L-1011 would win just in technology, because the plane was so advanced for its time. But yeah, the age of the trijet is gone, so we can only... And I've not inserted all the other Russian, like the Tupolev 147, I think, is also a trijet. There are a lot of designs that derived from the these trijets, but they were not produced in enough numbers to be quantified, I'd say. Maybe that Tupolev F was made in higher numbers, but certainly wasn't as evolved in tech and product and popularity, actually. This was the first and unfortunately the last plane from Lockheed. So they, I mean commercially, for commercial flight. Lockheed is now a 100% military company as far as I know. Not sure if they have any civilian activity or projects, but it's no longer producing civilian airliners for sure. You mean the DC-8? DC-8 Comet? The DC-8 well, the initial... Well, the DC-8 is a completely different plane. It is also a long-range airliner, a long-hauler, wide-body, but it is a 4-engine aircraft. The DC-8 is an amazing aircraft on its own. It belongs to the same category as a 747. So it has its ups and downs, of course. I believe it had a lot of downs. It was not as effective. It had some performance issues as well, where the 747 just thrived. It was really no competition for Boeing whatsoever. And I would say it wasn't a competition for McDonnell Douglas or Lockheed either. And the reason for why I say that is because you saw how little units were made compared to all these aircraft I just mentioned. They were just not up there in terms of what airlines wanted, actually. So airlines wanted wider bodies, which the DC-8 wasn't. They wanted better performing engines, which the DC-8 certainly didn't have. And that's why McDonnell Douglas built the DC-10. The DC-10 was the direct answer to the failing of the DC-8. Someone said, I'm not sure if that's true, that aside from the DC-10, the most successful plane from McDonnell Douglas was the DC-9, which was a regional jet, back when regional was not the word to be used for it. So you see how the DC-8 was kind of the precursor for McDonnell Douglas to start thriving in the business of airliners for long range, but it wasn't really that successful. As a matter of fact, I think that if the L-1011 is still flying, the Stargazer, like I was mentioning, if it's still flying, the DC-8, I'm pretty sure, is no longer flying, because the last DC-8 flying was like we can see Madeira already in the horizon. The last DC was decommissioned, or grounded last year, or in the beginning of this year, not sure, but it's no longer flying. Whereas the Stargaze, if it's still flying, it would be like an amazing feat. So you can see here now that we got an alert. That means that we are no longer inserting waypoints. It's also alerting us when we are near a change for a new waypoint. And once you reach the end of the route, it will start flashing. Now, let's see if I can get this one to work. 5, 6, insert. No, it goes to 0.
Atlantic 1011 heavy, Lisbon.
Oh, okay.
Expect rapid 1 Papa with a Billing transition.
Runway 05, nice. Let's accept that.
Expect track and 1 Papa with propellant transition. Runway 05, Euro Atlantic 1011 heavy.
Alright, so we are Oh, we already got our DME running, so we need to start our descent at 113 nautical miles. So we still got 30 nautical miles to go. So 113, 114, let's set it 114 or 115, 115. So it's a rounded number. So we need to come down here, yeah, fine. So we're changing, see it's blinking, that means that we are changing waypoints, 6 to 7. And then we will start our descent in approximately 30 nautical miles. By the way, someone asked me on Discord, this is the ADF gauge, so that's why it's parked. If we did have an ADF to tune in, this would be where we would get our bearings. As you know, the ADF is only capable of giving bearings, so no range, so that's why this is the VOR, this is the DME, and then this is just the HSI that's following the main route. Although you can more or less navigate with the RMI here, it's definitely better to have a bigger and dedicated RMI or HSI in this case. So we will try to obey to this visual. We're going to need to ask it to ATC to get that visual approach, although I believe if we still follow this, there will be no problem. Out of Pilim, we'll just set our navigation to radio to get our VOR, get our bearings, which is 20211, sorry, and we should be good to go. Start our descent in 15 miles.
Ryanair 36 Quebec Foxtrot. Descend to 5,000 feet. QNH 1016.
Descend to 5,000 feet. QNH 1016. Ryanair 36 Quebec Foxtrot.
Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy. Recon 1 Papa with
It's insisting for us to descend. I prefer to descend sooner, because we don't have a managed descent mode. So let's just say we're ready to descend.
Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy, approaching our top of descent, ready for rolling.
We're gonna get 5,000 here.
Descend to 5,000 feet. QNH 1016.
Descend to 5,000 feet, Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy.
5,000. Oops. 5,000 feet. All right, and now let's get into descent mode. En route descent. And let's start our descent now with, let's do it vertical speed. Let's do it with 600 at start. Let's call, seatbelt signs are still on though. And there we go. It's going to try to maintain Mach point 83. Now it's set to Mach point 80, and we'll start decelerating the plane.
Alpine 49 Mike Golf, flight level 360.
So 600 feet. Wait, I think we can do better than that. This plane is actually pretty good in decelerating, which is, we can't really say the same for the Airbuses. Alright, let's get our track IR working again. Let's center our image. There we are. We can see Madeira in the distance, very far ahead, but we can already see it. So we need to set our QNH 1016 once we get closer. At this at some point we're going to shift to our approach chart. This one, as the plane will start appearing here at Raccoon. We're still a bit far. Right there, there's Raccoon. Press here. Whoops. Same thing happened again. So this one right here.
38 Echo Charlie. Middle to Romeo with the mic transition. Runway 05. Return ready for descent.
Oh, what the heck? This map needs some work.
East 38 Echo Charlie. Descent to flight level 130.
We used to be able to just hover over waypoint. It will tell us what it is. As you see, it just disappears. So this map needs some work. Let's just leave it like that. Let's not mess too much with it. So again, the DC-8, quite a good plane. Didn't beat the odds, didn't beat the competition. Unless the Comet, you mean another plane. There was a de Havilland Comet, wasn't it? An airplane from de Havilland that had that issue with the windows. Is that the Comet? So Drex is asking me my opinion about the Comet, so I don't recall. Was the Comet a DC-8? Or was it that de Havilland plane I was talking about? One option I would love to have for the paper flight bag is to have a night mode, because this one is a bit too bright, and you're going to see here the PFD brightness is just set to the lowest, and still I consider this still to be glowing. Either have the option to completely black this out, or just have it dark enough and maybe turn on the navigation light up overhead, which is this one right here. Where is it? I can't see it. Is this it? There should be a little light up above and allow us to have a less intense white screen, especially flying at night. It's a little bothering. Alright, let's descend a little faster now. As you can see, our thrust is at, our N1 at least, it's at 70%, so we can clearly reduce our power and still maintain 80 Mach 0.80 and descend a little faster. We are at 88 nautical miles from Funchal VOR. Let's zoom in a little bit. Too much. I wonder if I can put this. No. Too good to be true. Oh, much better. You can see here, this is the final waypoint at Pylim, and there's nothing for the approach. So we really need to request our ATC here to give us a nice visual VOR, visual approach. Again, I don't know if I did say this, but I was thinking maybe, even though we might be given the RNAV approach, which we cannot follow for obvious reasons. There's a little plane there. Maybe we can just follow the visual flight plan anyway. I don't think Beyond ATC will get mad at us for that. So we got an alert light on the INS, about to reach a waypoint change from 6 to 7, then from 7 to 8, 8 to 9, and then that's over. So we're currently on thrust management. Yeah, it's a short flight and we don't even need to time accelerate, as you can see. Of course, if there are constraints to follow on this path, we can only revert ourselves to the charts. There is one at 4,000 feet at MA534 and another at 3,000 feet out of Pilot, but that's about it. We also have airspeed restrictions. 250 knots below 10,000, that's pretty standard. 280 knots between flight level 245 and flight level 100. And this is something we are about to hit, so let's reduce our speed to 280 knots here. So we're going to turn on the auto throttle and reduce our speed to 280 knots to accomplish the constraints, which aren't automatic, as you saw just there. We need to set it up manually to accomplish the restrictions on the charts. See some clouds up ahead. Very faint clouds, nothing on the radar scope. I've never seen the radar scope working in all the flights I've done, including the live stream. So I hope it works. See the planes, even though it's descending at 2,000 feet per minute, the plane is perfectly capable of reducing thrust and reducing airspeed to 250 knots. We need to 280 knots, so it's about there. It's going to accelerate now. There it is. Such a weird feeling to see the throttles moving when we fly Airbus so much that it kind of feels weird to see it moving on its own. But hey, it works. Back in the day when I started flying flight simulators, I didn't have much respect for Airbus because I thought not having a flight yoke, just that, not having a flight yoke was already a bit of a pain in the rear end, if you know what I mean. Because I couldn't figure out how you could fly a plane with a stick. I mean, I knew about fighter pilots, fighter jets flying with flight sticks, but to be honest, it felt like it felt weird. And yeah, this map is not good. Now the flight plan's gone. Great. Oh. The flight is so small that we could fit the entire INS system into this flight, so there's not even 9 waypoints on the flight. Oh, old school lights. I love this. Old school marker lights. I am the right hand turn to runway 05, although I'm going to do it visually. This is the approach right here. So let's see if we're going to get the RNP approach. If not, we're going to set it to the visual. So there's port sent over here, over to our 12 o'clock. I need to read the manual to know what these two buttons do, but we certainly need to be in WXT. WX means weather and T means turbulence, so it's giving us, or should be giving us, turbulence and significant weather. So here we are, port center is just up ahead. We could also have tuned in port send to VOR. I believe there's a VOR here, but it's not available in the chart, and we don't really need it to navigate to runway 05 anyway. But you can certainly now, since the line goes through port send, you can certainly tune in as a fallback system. Oh, the clouds are thicker, so we can barely see Funchal. That's port send and Funchal. You can see this is port send right here. Can you see? And Funchal is up ahead. The runway is somewhere on this little stretch of land here. It's just too dark outside to see anything clearly. No moon tonight, although there's a nice little moon. It's already gone. It's challenging, but it's something. When you do it so many times, you end up knowing more or less where you are. I've already done it, and I did land it at night, and so what do I want here? Landing performance, so VAP is 149, and right here on the charts we need to descend to 940 and then turn around and be at 850 and then 460 at Rosario. That's our minimum altitude for the decision height. When we reach 314 radar altimeter right here, this yellow light will light up as well as the DH. That's when you know when either to land or go around. Transition altitude at Madeira, I believe it's 6,000, but we will set our QNH for local at that altitude anyway. "32 nautical miles are still a bit high, so let's descend this a little faster. If we need to, we can make a circle here, no problem. We're just ahead of Port Saint, should be at about 10,000 feet. We're 2,000 feet above that. So let's just descend a little faster.
Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy. Contact Madeira approach 119.605.
Contact Madeira approach 119.605. Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy. Madeira departure. Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy. Flight level 117, we have Zulu.
Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy, Madeira approach. Good evening. QNH 1016, expect RNAV Zulu runway 05 with appealing transition.
Yeah, no, we can't do RNAV.
1016, expect RNAV Zulu runway 05 with appealing transition. Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy. Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy. Request approach change.
Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy. Roger. Say approach.
Request visual runway 05. Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy.
Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy. Confirm new approach visual runway 05.
Affirmative. Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy.
Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy. Madeira approach. QNH 1016, expect the visual approach runway 05.
QNH 1016, expect a visual approach runway 05. Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy.
Yeah, we're still a bit too high. Let's reduce our speed now so we can have time to descend. crosswind. Can only say by the plane's attitude. Other than that, it's impossible to. Okay, QNH 1016 set, and oh, galley power has no. Didn't set the galley power. Poor guys back there. 1016 set and cross-checked. 1016, 1016, 1016 set.
Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy, descend to 3,000 feet, QNH 1016.
Descend to 3,000 feet, QNH 1016, Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy.
So we just saw descent rate, so we can decelerate as well. There's the runway. So let's set this. We still didn't go through the final waypoint. Still going 8 to 9, but as soon as we get to 9, we're gonna switch to VOR from INS. Passing 3,000 feet. Should already have this on. Let's hold it 2,000. I don't want it to
Euro
set.
Atlantic 1011 Heavy, lead to them heading 220. Expect radar vectors for visual approach runway 05.
220.
Recon heading 220. Expect radar vectors for visual approach runway 05. Euro Atlantic 1011 Heavy.
So we're turning to 220 for the radar vectors. Right there, don't turn too much. Set this to radio. So it's giving me the radar vectors, so we're not going to be able to follow this completely, but we can still use it to our advantage for the turn. So let's reduce our speed here to 200 knots. We start clearing the flaps. Set flaps 4.
Flaps 4.
Alright, let's start our descent to 1,000 feet. Check. So we're expecting the radar vectors any moment.
Flaps 10.
Flaps 10 set. check. Come on, stay at 1000. Come on. There's our plane, so we're far off because we should be coming a little closer than that, but given the size of the plane, I'm actually thankful we're a bit far off than during that approach. Let's reduce here now to our VAP.
Flaps 14.
And gear down.
Gear down. Flaps 18. Flaps 22.
Don't descend. Why is it descending? Autopilot off. Why is it descending?
Atlantic 1011 heavy, turn right, heading 225. Vectors for the approach.
Turn right, heading 225. Euro Atlantic 1011 heavy.
Flaps full.
Flaps 33.
Ah, come on. Nose down. What is it doing?
Euro Atlantic 1011 heavy, turn left, heading 215.
What is it telling me to do?
Heading 215. Euro Atlantic 1011 heavy.
Easy 38 Echo Charlie, contact Madeira Tower 124.66.
Right, stabilize here.
Easy 38 Echo Charlie.
Come on, guys. I'm out of the chart again. Oops. I'm gonna request an approach change.
Euro Atlantic 1011 heavy. Request approach change.
Euro Atlantic 1011 heavy, roger, say approach.
2500.
Request is runway 05. Euro Atlantic 1011 heavy.
Euro Atlantic 1011 heavy, confirm your approach visual runway 05.
Yes.
Affirmative. Euro Atlantic 1011 heavy.
Euro Atlantic 1011 heavy, ladder approach. Good evening, QNH 1016, expect a visual approach runway 05.
QNH 1016, expect a visual approach runway 05. Euro Atlantic 1011 heavy.
I don't know what ATC is trying to do here, but it's sending me to the mid-Atlantic again. And I'm going to ignore this. So sorry about that, but ATC is just screwing up my flight plan here. I should have stuck with it requesting RNP. I couldn't do it, but pretty sure I could do the RNAV and that will be it. Yeah, sure, Draxi. As soon as I get to land this. So the normal procedures would be never to come down south and attempt an approach. We now would need to go back to Pilum and start over. But since this was an ATC mistake, not mine, I'm gonna circumvent her rules here a little bit. I'm sure no one's watching from the authorities. So there's a runway. I'm gonna make a wide turn. To the landing phase. Let's go to Madeira Tower.
Madeira Tower. You're Atlantic 101 heavy. Visual runway 05.
Atlantic 1011 heavy, Madeira Tower, continue.
Local. You're Atlantic 1011 heavy.
Check. So, boys and girls, don't try this at home. Check. A little low. That's an understatement. There's a rabbit pulse. Turning in. Still a little low. Reversers. thrusters off, idle. My track IR just died, which is always the best moment during a landing. Welcome to Madeira. Not my best approach, but I was kind of sabotaged by the ATC giving me vectors that just don't exist.
Yeah, Cap, I'll get the approach flow done. Stand by. Captain, that last flow is done. Aircraft is set.
Now we don't have taxi to gates. We have nothing. Let's go back to track on. Let's go back to tower. Yeah, I think beyond ATC just died. We were
Madeira
tilting.
departure. Ryanair 36 Quebec Foxtrot. Good evening. Flight level 0988. We have Zulu on board.
Let's
Ryanair
just
36 Quebec Foxtrot Madeira approach. QNH 1016, expect RNF Zulu runway
let's give
05
it
with the bill in
to
transition.
Alpha 15.
QNH 1016. Expect the RNAV Zulu runway 05 with the pedal in transition. Ryanair 36 Quebec Foxtrot.
So let's go with the after landing.
Running after landing checks now. One moment.
S16.
Captain, flow complete. Back to you now.
Yeah, I think BRTC just died. Because I don't see any traffic. Oh, there's no plane here. It just crashed, I think. Let me confirm that. No, actually no. There's a plane actually on the approach now. All right, let's turn in. Turn off the taxi and runway turn off, as well as the strobes. There. Parking brake set. Do we have APU running? We do. Alright. Alright, welcome to Madeira. Not my best landing, but
No problem. Let's see.
parking flow. Ah, yep. Give me a second.
This guy is passive aggressive. It's being a jerk all the time.
Did my job. Got that flow all set for you.
Alright, so
Ryanair 36 Quebec Foxtrot, descend to 3,000 feet.
Descend to 3,000 feet.
don't know
Ryanair
why
36
it always
Quebec
picks
Foxtrot.
Ryanair to make my ground handling at Madeira, but alright.
Clear direct to them. Cross perimeter above 3,000 feet. Clear it RNAV Zulu runway 05.
Right, gentlemen, welcome to Madeira. We actually got out of the plane before the stairs were connected. Watch this guy working. Generic dude is working. Let's see the luggage being unloaded.
Passengers bus is coming.
Actually, look at that. It's pretty straight. It's just not here though. I stopped a little earlier. Yeah, it doesn't look good because it's operated by Ryanair on this side, and on the other side it's operated by both Menzies and Portway, which doesn't make sense. These are rival companies and they can't be both operating. Look at that. Portway, Menzies, Portway. It doesn't make absolutely no sense. Look at this guy. He's just placing the bags in a weird location. Let's see him do that. It's like David Copperfield there. What? Dude. Are you on drugs or something? Anyway, guys, short flight, and excuse me. Welcome to Madeira. Next flight will be better. It always is. I forgot to clear the flaps. Look at that. That's a rookie mistake. Now there's no hydraulic system, so the flaps won't go up. Really a rookie mistake. I hope you guys still enjoyed the flight nevertheless. It went a little better than the first flight with the L-1011, but certainly there's some issues with the plane still. They still need to be ironed out. But other than that, this was a very cool flight from a very cool classic. And you want to look inside the terminal, Drexy? Sure. Let me put this in drone camera. Actually, it's the showcase camera. So you want to go inside the terminal, alright? So this is the luggage carousels where the baggages are put in, and this is the waiting area for the boarding flights. And these are the passenger terminals down here, and you can go inside. I can't do this with the pilots because it will be take a lot longer than desired. This is the exit. Beautiful lobby. Well, not that beautiful. It's just a standard lobby. And then you can come outside here to catch your taxi. These are the boarding gates. Whatever. And then these are the ATMs, of course, post office. And then you can come outside, catch your cab, all the way to You can come to the parking lot as well, pick up your car if you left it here. And that's it. That's Madeira Airport. Ronaldo statue, good question. I think yes, but I don't know where it is. If anyone knows where that is. So this is the waiting area. Let's check the other side. I don't know where it is. I'm sorry, I don't know where it is. Let's check this side here. Oh, these are the crew, I believe. Crew. Unless it's downstairs. No. Sorry, man. I know there is a statue, not a very pleasant statue here somewhere. I just don't know exactly where that is. It's the duty-free cafeteria, drinks. Oh, there's a Starbucks coffee here. That's the magazine store. And we're back at the food area.
Departure. Easy 38 Echo Charlie. 3,200 feet.
Easy 38 Echo Charlie.
On this side.
Continue.
Continue. Easy 38 Echo Charlie.
Not on this level. Certainly not on the entrance, is it? There's the rent-a-car. Well, I'm sure there is. I just can't find it. Yeah, but who cares? It's just a football player. Come on. If you want to see his mug, he's right here. So, alright guys, welcome to Madeira. You just saw the departure hall. I didn't see anything there. If there is one, it's probably hidden. But here it is. Cristiano Ronaldo. This was the Inibuilds L-1011-500 Tristar flight from Lisbon to Madeira. We had a little hiccup on the beginning with GSX not understanding that it was time to leave. Then on the arrival with Beyond ATC giving me some weird vectors for the approach. But yeah, it is what it is. We got here in one piece. The plane behaved as expected. Really flawless flight for the plane itself. It was the other stuff around it that didn't work this time. But hey, I'll take it anytime if we can arrive safely to our destination, right? And I think we can all relate with issues that sometimes do happen. And it doesn't happen to those that don't oh, now the catering's working. See that? Now the catering's working. How about that? Ha! Hey man, don't sit on the job, man. Looks bad on you. Yeah, go ahead and stand up. So, yeah. Thank you all for coming.
Flaps 22, flaps 0.
Okay. So if you guys enjoyed what you saw, just remember to leave a like and subscribe. If you also think your friends will like it, please do share with them. There's also a Buy Me Coffee link in the description for anybody willing to help me with the purchase of my next add-ons and sceneries. I hope you guys enjoy these kinds of flights. Give me suggestions, give me flights coming out of Madeira for the next time. And yeah, thank you all for coming, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
3,000 feet. Clear to tower Navienti runway 05.
Clear direct Manic. Cross Manic at or above 3,000 feet. Cleared our Navienti runway 05. Easy 38 Echo Charlie.
to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dreams begin. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light.
36 Quebec Foxtrot, Wellenbeck. Continue.
Continue. Ryanair 36 Quebec Foxtrot.
The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be.
Ryanair 36 Quebec Foxtrot.
I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dreams begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drums begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light.